In this week's episode, in typical fashion, I bring up the blue blur, Sonic the Hedgehog himself.
It's time for some more acquisitions, and acquisitions.
And as Sony finally putting some effort into the game preservations. I'm Barry.
And I'm Anthony. This is episode 56 of the Retro Gamer Dads podcast, the podcast for everything retro and retro inspired.
So
we've got a lot this week.
Yeah, and I've managed to squeeze in just a little bit more of Sonic the Hedgehog, although unfortunately this isn't quite as positive as I'd like it to be.
It's not quite positive, but
so
worse news.
After last week when we were talking about Sonic Origins and the mess that the pre-orders are,
yes,
this week we're actually talking about SEGA are taking down a lot of these games individually from various marketplaces.
Yeah, so they've decided to delist all the games that are only the ones that are coming to Sonic Origins. So that's your Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Sonic the Hedgehog CD. So you can kind of see why they've done it, but at the same time, I think it's a bit of a cheap shot to do it.
Yeah, I don't see what the problem with delisting this. The only reason I can think of is obviously they want people to then go off and buy this bundle. These games were dirt cheap, so to buy these titles individually would have been significantly cheaper than going out and buying this bundle for £35-40.
But I guess it does stop those people who, might own it 20 odd times to do it even more, like you, Barry.
Well, I already own them anyway, so I'll still have access to them, so ultimately it doesn't affect me. But I think removing various other versions and forcing you to get, say, this compilation of other titles, someone may really just love Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and just want to buy Sonic 2 or Sonic CD. And doesn't
you'd
care
hope
about
that
any
those
of the others.
people would already own the game in some fashion, obviously in the way they want to play it. But isn't some of the Sonic games in Game Pass?
I don't know if any of these are. There are some Sonic games in, but my argument would be in the case of, say, Sonic CD. This currently is the best way to play Sonic CD.
Yeah.
Even on other compilations or the original game, you don't get things like widescreen support. You don't get the different spin dashes that you can do in this. Can't play as Tails. This is currently the definitive version of Sonic CD. So someone might go, oh, I never had a Mega CD back in the day, or, the prices
I want
on
to
it
play the
nowadays
original.
are just skyrocketing. I want to play just this one game. Don't really care about Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. Just Sonic CD. Well, as of, what is it, the end of May? 20th of May, was it?
Yes, it was.
So, as of that date, their only option to get this sort of version of Sonic CD with widescreen support is to buy Sonic Origins.
Yeah, now, I'm a bit confused into this other part they've done. So, there is some exceptions, which include Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, which will remain available, but only on the Switch.
Yeah, they're actually not that old. They're part of the Sega Ages collection.
Yeah, so that's the only one's going to be sticking around.
I would imagine as well this is staying listed on mobile devices since Sonic Origins isn't coming to them as well.
I'd assume so, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did take it down.
Yeah.
They've not stated that they'll keep on mobile devices, so nothing tells me that they will do. But it's disappointing. At least if you already own it, great. If you don't own it and you want it, buy it now, because you've only got as we're recording it, 10 days when it comes out. You've got 7 days?
Yeah, about a week when this podcast actually gets released. But the thing that's worrying me now, that the more I'm thinking about it, is Sega worried about the quality of Sonic Origins to the point where they don't think, we can't really have any competition to this compilation. We need to
buy this if you want them.
Well, yeah, because to me, options are great. The reason someone would want to buy Sonic Origins is maybe for the convenience of having all the classic games together. But
new achievements.
I want, new achievements, of course, there's new achievements. But I want to actually see all the additional content. I want to see what they've got for like the music store. I want to see if they have anything like maybe adverts or, as we talked about last week, playing the game in reverse. Just for a new challenge for a game that
Yeah.
at this point is starting to become muscle memory.
Well, I think with Sonic Origins, I can see what they're doing and I can see what they've done. I don't get behind some of the character animations. You kind of have to purchase it come separately. Some
Mhm.
quirks like that doesn't make sense.
Well,
So
the thing is,
are
we
they
don't even know what they
thinking?
are. To be honest, we were
Well,
just
no, yeah, we have
speculating.
no idea. Yeah, it literally could just be the fact they just blink every now and then.
Yeah,
It's something that simple. Um, so maybe Sony aren't, like I said, as confident as Sonic Origins standing out alone against the rest. It's
yeah,
just going,
Sega.
let's take all the rest out. So Sony.
Yeah,
But oh, for sake,
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, though.
I meant Sega. Um, I don't know. It's a shame, but
I'm just hoping Sonic Origins just isn't going to be like the bare minimum product. And the crazy thing is, Sega, what, I don't know, 25 years ago ish, set the template how a Sonic compilation should be. Sonic Jam on the Saturn, with the exception of Sonic CD, which wasn't included in there, if they release that again, but with higher quality videos and a little bit more content packed into it, people would lose their minds.
yeah, they would do.
It was a fantastic compilation.
Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about a few different acquisitions, and I
Mm.
know one that you always keep asking for and you keep shouting for is to Microsoft to buy Sega.
Yeah, Microsoft, just buy Sega, please. Well, while we're talking about acquisitions, should we move on to Ubisoft, who look like they're trying to find a buyer for themselves?
Yes, I'm not entirely sure if they're looking to find a buyer or it's just circumstances have happened for them to kind of look like they're going for sale, and it's a rumor mill, but
Mm.
it seems quite a substantial rumor mill. Um, Now, as reported by Bloomberg, apparently talks are being held with several private equity firms. So not like the bigwigs. So far, people like Microsoft, Sony haven't put like a bid in. It's more smaller private places like KKR and Co. and Blackstone Inc. and stuff like that are kind of looking at acquisitioning
Yeah.
Ubisoft. And a few of the former employees have said that they think it will be going up for sale soon. So it's kind of there, but it's quite a predominant one. But surprisingly, it doesn't look like any of the big players are looking at it.
Yeah, this seems to be more not Ubisoft looking to actually find a buyer, but maybe, testing the waters. What would they be worth? What would people be willing to pay for them? Ultimately, what could they get out of such an acquisition as well?
Yeah, similar to Activision Blizzard. Recently, the last few years, they've not been very great results. And again, they've had quite big revelations in that about the systematic sexism and poor workplace
Yeah.
conditions. So that's hit them hard, especially because, did a bit of research before this. I didn't realize um, their share price has dropped by 41% over the last year.
Bloody hell.
Just the last
You know
year.
why? It's because they still haven't released a new Splinter Cell game.
Yeah. That's got to be it. Still waiting for it.
Yeah.
Next.
Maybe they've gone off the deep end slightly as well. Yeah, our tactical series based in real world events now has aliens.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised they've not put is it Sam Bishop for Splinter Cell? It's been a while since I've played it.
Sam Fisher?
Sam Fisher. Sam
Yeah.
Bishop. That's why Sam Fisher hasn't made an appearance in Extraction.
Yeah, he made like a cameo, didn't he, on the radio or something in Division 2, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and he's in some sort of mobile game as well.
I don't know. What surprised me is I didn't realize. So, in regards to you think of Ubisoft and Activision, you kind of think different sizes. Ubisoft is half the size of Activision Blizzard,
Mm.
yet has produced so many more games that has done so much more. I didn't realize the size of the company was
Yeah,
so small.
according to this, it's valued at like 80% of what Microsoft paid for Bethesda.
Yeah, and that's only because of the 41% drop. So right now, it's actually a really good price to
But if you think
for
about
one of
it,
the big phones to pick it up and to try and then go with it somewhere.
Ubisoft have got quite a lot of big series that
Oh
they
yeah,
pump out quite regularly. Like you get
yes,
a Far Cry every 2-3 years. You get your
yep,
various Tom Clancy games. Whether it's Rainbow Six, The Division, Ghost Recon. I know we haven't seen one
yep.
of them.
Wildlands and stuff like that.
Splinter Cell. Hopefully, it
Yeah,
has been enough 10 years or so. Plus, they have a lot more casual stuff as well. They have like the Rayman series. They have they do that. What is it called? Dance Central? Not Dance Central. What is it?
Dance Pie. Oh, is it?
Just
Oh,
Dance. Just
that's
Dance.
it. Yes,
That's
I
the
was like,
one.
Samsung just got it for.
I was
Yeah,
going to say. I just saw you look off then as if to say, "Oh, I'll look on my shelf."
yeah.
Of course, it's for.
Unfortunately, I don't have the case on my shelf. I just have the games inside, the cartridges inside. Yeah, case.
Sacrilege. You're one of those, are you? I went through my
Wow.
Switch games the other day, and I was like, "Why are all my games in the wrong cases?" I think Elliot's
No,
been
no.
in the draw.
It's just me out the game's been in the wrong cases, but I don't, saving me having a stack of like 20 cases on the shelf, I can just put them all inside the cases.
Oh no,
That's secure. I would
I,
never
I
do it with
used to go
CDs.
around
I
to
would never
Phil's.
do that with discs. I would never ever do it with discs in the case. They would always stay in the case.
I remember
But
going around to
cartridges, no,
Phil's, and he
different.
used to just have a pile of PC and PlayStation discs face down on
No,
top of his
no,
PC
no.
desktop under his desk.
That's
I was like, "What are you doing?"
no. That's just I go around to Mindle sometimes, and there's like, well, it hasn't happened in a while, but when I first started going around, there was just like discs sort of like shoved in the shelves between
Yeah,
cases, stuff like that, or they're inside the case upside down and just in the wrong cases, and it just gave me anxiety. I just had to walk away. I was like, I can't look at this.
yeah, no, can't be dealing with that. Too stressful.
No, but I am not surprised at them going up for acquisition due to sounds like they've had a tough time, like most companies have really, especially some of the small companies
Yeah,
during COVID.
saying they've had tough time though. Still, what valued at just over 4 billion? Was it £4 billion?
Yeah.
Is that actually £4 billion or is it
Yes,
dollars?
£4 billion.
Oh, so it's proper money.
£4.4 billion. Now,
4.04 billion pounds.
4.04.
You're quite a few million out there.
No. Like you, I've forgotten to talk today.
Yeah.
But I'm quite surprised that Microsoft and Sony so far haven't sort of piqued any interest. But I have a little question here. Okay. Microsoft had the latest game, Extraction, come out straight to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Could it have any tie-in?
I don't think so. I think that was just a deal Microsoft done to try and get, a bit more publicity coming to Game Pass. Because I think at the moment, anyone who wants Game Pass for first party games has probably got Game Pass already.
Yes.
It's either that or they've just accidentally bought an Xbox Series X on all access and not realised, and that's how they've ended up with Game Pass.
Or do you mean, or they've just gone and looked and gone, oh, what's this? And then bought it, and then 2 minutes later go to us, guys, I've just bought an Xbox by accident. We're going, how'd you do that?
Oh no, I bought an Xbox. Oh,
About to
what a
miss us.
shame.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're on to you.
Shocking.
But I think it was just to try and entice a few more people to come across.
Yeah.
You can guarantee as soon as
it's
we
a
finish
big
recording
company.
this podcast tomorrow or something, they'll come out and confirm Atari's bought Ubisoft or something stupid like that.
Oh, now you flipping jinxed it. Why'd you have to go and say stuff like that?
Yeah, we'll just have to do another podcast next week. Before we continue, as always, we'd like to say a massive thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're really enjoying it, we'd love to hear back from you. And the best way to do this is by leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting app. It'll only take a minute and it absolutely means the world to us.
Yes, and also, again, like always, massive shout out to Short Gizmo to supporting us. We really do appreciate it. You can become a Patreon member for as little as £1 per month.
£1?
What could you do with that? I mean, I know you could buy a McDonald's chicken sandwich or some of the bits, but £1, and it's only for a
Don't
month.
give them alternatives, especially such tasty ones as that.
And also, like always, um, you receive early ad-free versions of the podcast. I don't know why I can't give you straight better after having a little conversation about the McChicken Mayo Burger, whatever. But we'll also give you a shout out in the next episode. So who doesn't want a shout out?
Yeah, yeah. The shout out lasts a lot longer than that McChicken Mayo does. So
It does. It does.
value
Because
for money there.
well, things like eat your chicken mayo. No one knows about it. No one hears about it. Whereas
Right.
you get a shout out on the
Just before you
podcast,
carry on,
everyone knows.
two things. One, this is a retro video game show, not a food critique one. And two, I'm starving. Let's stop talking about money. Otherwise, you just go around my stomach in the background going, feed me.
Hang on, haven't you just had your tea?
Yeah.
Dinner, sorry.
I'm always hungry.
Tea. Oh, that's true.
I must have been like Kirby or Yoshi in a past life or something. Right.
Going on, man.
So, while we've just been talking about Sonic Origins and like preserving previous versions of the games and that,
Oh, yeah.
one really quick thing that came up, there's not a lot of information on it, but according to a tweet by Garrett Fredley, apparently Sony is putting together some sort of game preservation team.
Flipping heck. I mean, after Sony going on and on and saying about no one cares about old games, no one cares about preservation.
Yeah,
They've
no
made a
one wants to
preservation
play
team.
old games. Oh, they're playing them on the Xbox. They're playing them on the Switch. Oh, we could get more money out of this.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's the only reason they've done it for money.
Yeah.
No, it looks quite good. The guy, like I said, Garrett, who has tweeted about it, it's nice to hear that he said that game preservation was his first career passion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to hear someone who, he's dedicated to doing this. He's coming on to doing something that he wants to do. So you're hoping he'll do a good job, and help Sony support some of their old IPs, some more preservations, and like we spoke about before with the two different Sony tiers coming out, where you finally do get some of the older games put into tiers. He'll at least help try and unlock.
Yeah, because there's plenty of,
platform.
especially on the PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah.
There's plenty of titles on there that loads of people would love to see. They had, I think it was Legend of Dragoon, which was like their own first party role-playing game to try and compete with things like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So it'll be fantastic to see something like that come back.
Oh, honestly, it's nice to have some good news about Sony. That's what I'll put it.
Well, it's not been all bad recently, has it? In all fairness,
I'm surprised we didn't get like a new statement out from Sony. It was just a tweet from him.
Well, Sony haven't announced anything at all about this.
Oh, that's what I mean. That's what I'm surprised about. So, is it even true?
Well, I assume it is true. He's tweeted about he's got the role, but no information about that role exists yet. So, it weren't like a rumor that Sony are doing it. It's like, hey, I got a job doing this at Sony. It'd be great to see some of those classic PlayStation 1 titles. But just while we just mentioned Final Fantasy as well, it looks like Square Enix has just sold off all their Western studios and IPs.
Now, it's a bit worrying, isn't it? That is.
Well, I don't know, actually. I can see this being as a positive. So they've sold them to was it a Swedish group?
Yes.
Yes, I was making sure I got
Group.
that right. So a Swedish group called Embracer Group, who actually own a lot of game studios and other like media companies and that. The biggest ones that they've got is like Deep Silver, Gearbox, and Saber Interactive. So
Okay.
they're not really known to most people, but they're certainly not like some little tiny company.
I say Gearbox. I know plenty of games that use Gearbox.
Yeah. Saber Studios, Saber Interactive. They're one of those companies where you're like, yeah, I know I've definitely played a lot of games by them, but I couldn't tell you them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've sold Crystal Dynamics, Eidos, Square Enix Montreal, who I'm assuming will now be renamed to something else.
I'm surprised. I mean, I mean, sorry, no, I'll rephrase that. I'll be interested to see what they do with these IPs. Seeing as they've
Yeah,
taken things like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Thief, they're big games. They're big
yeah.
franchises. So
Well,
I'm interested to see how they progress with that.
well, another IP that they've gained is the Legacy of Kain series.
Now, this is a series that I'm familiar with.
So, I'm sure there's been more than two games, but the two games I remember is Legacy of Kain, which was kind of a top-down hack and slash RPG,
Okay.
and Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain, which was a third person adventure game with some like light role playing aspects to it. And that was out on the original PlayStation, and Soul Reaver also came out on the Dreamcast. Now, Soul Reaver was a fantastic game. You could kind of go between two different dimensions at gates and like the world around you would warp. Really impressive stuff, especially back on the original PlayStation and Dreamcast.
All right.
And I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've got a feeling it was very open ended. It's been the best part of like
So,
20 years since I last played it. But
well, that's what I mean. So, Lexi Kane getting sold, its IP sold.
well, yeah, this
There
was
must be
just like an
something being done with
IP that
this.
was bundled in,
Yeah,
and most people were probably never even thought about it. But Embracer Group specifically mentioned Legacy of Kain,
that's what
which
I
has
mean.
got
The
people
fact it's
excited
getting
that they
mentioned like
might
this.
actually do something with this IP that's been pretty much dormant for 2 decades, as far as I am aware.
Yeah, there must be. If they've mentioned it like this, there must be something with it.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I think I read that they were actually working on the next Tomb Raider.
Yep.
So that's already in development. And, Deus Ex, the last two titles were all right. I like the original one on the PC. That'd be a nice one to get a comeback as well. Well, not necessarily
Um,
comeback. It's a
you know
little,
me. I like my RPGs, and
a little
Deus
kid.
Ex I've enjoyed.
Yeah, yeah. I still need to go through Mankind Divided.
Oh yeah,
That was
second
the
the
second of the newer
yes.
titles, weren't it? Overall, I
I,
think this might actually be quite a positive thing for the studios and the titles.
oh,
Um,
definitely.
However, the price they paid for this was an absolute bargain. Three
Yeah,
hundred million. If I had 300 million, I'd buy these.
because obviously the amount. I mean, they could make 300 million just off selling one of those, making and selling one of those titles.
Well, yeah, although we will touch on it in a bit. Some of these studios were the ones who also done some of the recent Marvel titles,
Yes,
which actually lost $200 million. So,
yes. So maybe Square Enix was selling them off to try and get a little bit of money
well,
back.
maybe, but even if that was the case, they're only going to come up 100 million up. And I know that's a lot of money, but when we're talking about acquisitions of 4, 6, 7 billion dollars,
Mm.
it pales in comparison, doesn't it? And it does seem like these are big studios. They're not like
They
so.
are.
They're they're not like some of the tiny studios that they may have like acquired along the way by buying other bigger studios or anything like that, or publishers. These are some really recognizable ones, especially Crystal Dynamics and Eidos.
Well, that's it. Should we go on to our last little bit we've got here?
Yeah, it kind of ties in, doesn't
Ties
it?
on quite nicely. So, following the sale of Square Enix with all these different IPs, the rumor is they are actually going to for sale themselves.
Yeah, so part of the rumor is that the reason they sold off these Western developers quite cheap was they were trying to trim the fat. I'm not saying that these studios are bad, but trying to make themselves more attractive, make the overall
Yeah,
package of buying Square Enix, you know, it's the core Square
just
Enix that you're
yeah,
going
a lot
for.
more attractive for what people
Yeah,
want to look
you
for.
don't get the blow, not getting the debt that they inherited from the Marvel games or any sort of obligations they might have to make a third Marvel game in the future. That's
Oh,
now been
that's
pushed onto the new owners,
yeah.
Embracer Group.
Now the thing is, though, obviously, do you reckon they've also they're going for sale to try and recoup. Sorry, no, wait a second. So do you reckon part of the reason going for sale is to try and help themselves get back on top and get back on track? I guess, especially
Maybe.
if they get a heavy backer behind them.
I don't. I don't necessarily think they're doing it because they want to. They're falling out of relevance or something. Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. Those alone are a huge series that
Well, we played quite a bit
sell
of Dragon.
just on name alone.
We played quite a bit of Dragon Quest recently, haven't we?
Dragon Quest Builders
Dragon
2.
Builders,
Yeah,
yeah.
but there's well,
No,
I've
there's
never
quite a lot of them,
played
but
any
we
of the
quite
main
enjoyed that
series,
one.
but yeah, they seem to sell well. The Final Fantasy games seem to sell well.
Yeah. Oh, flipping it. You can't throw a stone without hitting some sort of Final Fantasy game, can you?
Yeah. On top of that, they're getting new IPs coming out, like Octopath Traveler and Triangle
Yep.
Strategy.
They are a very attractive company, and I feel like they will be very attractive towards sort of Sony.
Well,
Because
yeah.
a lot of them are sort of like JRPGs, and a lot of these sorts of games are more Sony based, if you get what I mean.
For a lot of people, Square is when you say Square, it's one of those companies you think PlayStation. Even though there
Yeah.
used to be a Nintendo, pre like mid-90s, if someone said Square, you get like, oh yeah, that company that makes all those games for the NES and the SNES.
Yeah.
And even though Final Fantasy 13 came out on the Xbox 360, we got Final Fantasy 11 as well. It definitely does seem to be more a Sony specific company.
Yeah. It just sort of ties in and flows with them.
A good example is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Will that ever come to Xbox? I don't know.
Unfortunately, I doubt it.
But yeah, I just don't understand why they're looking to maybe get acquired by someone else. The only other
Maybe there's
reason I could
something else in
think
the
of,
background we don't know of.
perhaps. The only other thing I can think of is maybe they're looking to do it just for the stability.
Yeah.
Because I certainly don't think they're in like financial trouble or anything, and they need to be bailed out by a Sony or a Microsoft or Nintendo. Well, Nintendo are cheapskates. they don't buy any companies.
If they do, it's like a tiny little company that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. I don't think they're needing that sort of big company to come in and acquire them in order to survive.
I mean, it could be partly to do with, obviously, with the pandemic that's happened so far. They might be having a bit of fallout still from that. And it's just one level, we just don't know. But
Yeah, but I would imagine
I
if
would
that was
love
the case, they could
Xbox to buy these as well.
restructure, maybe lay off staff, close some studios that aren't performing. I don't think it's something where they need to sell themselves to get through it. They could cancel some projects, close some studios, and just go on the way that way.
Can you imagine if they cancelled Triangle Strategy?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's already out.
No, can you imagine if they did?
Oh, right. No. No, I like that game, but it's no Final Fantasy Tactics.
Hey, there you go. That could be the next game they could bring out again.
Well, we spoke about it.
Yeah, we did.
Quite a few podcasts ago about it was on that NVIDIA list of league titles and Final Fantasy Tactics or Ogre Battle. That's another one that was kind of like the precursor to what Final Fantasy Tactics is. That's like spiritual successor to it. But yes, Square's kind of like Sega. They've got so many IPs that they could just survive for a long period of time just by re-releasing old games.
With Square, I kind of feel, well, releasing old games, flipping it, Final Fantasy, that's what they've been doing. I mean, it's times that they re-released a Final Fantasy or just a adaptation of a previous game that's just tweaked and made it a bit better.
Yeah, saying exactly that. I just recently picked up Final Fantasy 7 and 8 for the Nintendo Switch. I already own this. I own it as a digital game on the PlayStation Portable, I think it was. I own it on the Xbox 360. Xbox
Why?
One. I own it on the original PlayStation, and I have still never actually completed it.
Why? Why did you purchase it then?
Maybe I might complete it while I've got the option
No,
of just
no,
dipping in
that's
and out
not.
on a
No,
handheld.
no, there's no way. How many games have you got on the play right now?
What, just on the Switch?
Yeah, just on the Switch. Because last time I was around,
Hang
you
on.
pulled out about, I
Let me
don't know,
see.
9 or 10 like JRPGs and that sort of thing.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18.
So
Yeah,
18, is that including this game as well?
19. Well, actually, that's 2, so 20.
So yeah, I don't see you getting around to that one.
Well, yeah.
Because both those games would easily take you sort of, I don't know, 7-8 hours plus.
Yeah,
And that's
you've
me
never played
being
either of those
no,
two
no,
titles, have you?
that's me being,
No, that's been you. That's you being extremely naive.
yeah. I think
I'd
I've only
say.
ever really played one of Final Fantasy in the PS2,
Oh,
and that took flipping hours,
I reckon.
days,
I reckon
days.
between the two of them, if you're going through relatively quick, about 60 hours,
Yeah, there's no chance you're
if you
going to
know
be
what you're
flipping
doing.
completing that.
And considering I've never actually passed what the equivalent point of the first disc was on Final Fantasy VII, and I've only played like the first couple of hours of Final Fantasy VIII, I have no idea what I'm doing.
I don't see you ever unsealing that game because I'm sure when I was around last, had some games that weren't even unsealed still.
Yeah, probably.
Just looking down your jokes, you know it's true.
Right, do you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong live. Right, give me a second.
Don't unseal it now. So-
Oh my god, why are these so difficult to get into? Haha! It's unsealed. Don't know when I'll play it, but it's unsealed.
Yeah, I don't know why you just unsealed it because you could have, I don't know, sold on.
No, I'm not
Taken it
buying them.
back.
No, I'm buying them for me. I'm not buying them as collector's pieces or anything.
Buy them for you. Flipping it, I don't see how any chance of time to play it.
Nah.
You can play if you don't have time to play anyway
I'm
now.
just buying them now to save them up for when I retire in like 30 years or something.
Oh,
Right.
what, when the sort of like Nintendo Switch QLED 30-inch mega hyper
Holographic display.
sort of. Oh yeah.
Yeah, God knows what it'll be then.
Oh, and they will still have Final Fantasy 7 on that device too in 30
Oh yeah,
years
I'll
time.
probably buy them again. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
That's along with Sonic. I'll be there. I'll be. Do you ever remember when the N64 was out?
Yes.
Right,
I
and
remember playing
on the advert it
Mario
was
Kart on
like
that.
the world's most powerful games console,
Yeah.
Nintendo 64, and you're like, wow! Like I'll be like that in the future. I'll be like, with over 1 billion teraflops of graphical power, the new Xbox Million Infinite. And I'll be like, sweet, I'm getting it. I've had to take a mortgage out. I've been in line. I've waited 12 years for it. The stock's finally back in. I've got it. Download Sonic.
Yes. Just started playing Sonic.
Well,
Carries
it's
there
like when I got
going, what are
my
you doing in your
Series
life?
X. I was like, sweet. And I was like, what can I play on it? I went, I know, I'll play
Sonic.
Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah. I forgot we were playing that. Well, do you know, Esther goes to me the other day. She was like, so I was playing my games and I was going for games. And she goes to me, can you imagine? Sorry, no. She goes, do you think you should be playing on the Xbox when you're older? I'm like, what do you mean when I'm older? She's like,
Yeah,
what?
you're
When you're like
well,
50? I'm like, yeah. I was like,
well, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Of
Why not?
course.
You know,
I was
it's
like, yeah. What's wrong with that?
yeah. I
It's
think
escapism.
gaming's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? It's kind
Yeah.
of from outsiders. It's like, oh, you play games, playing kids' games.
Yeah. You don't
But
know the half of the games
gaming
I
is
play.
so broad.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, it's
I mean, it's like you and your pants
practically
party.
everyone's a gamer. I remember having a conversation with Kerry going, "Oh, you playing on the Xbox? You always play on the Xbox." I'm like, what? But you're always playing that Candy Crush Saga or whatever the puzzle game is on your phone. Yeah, but that's different.
It's
How?
no, it's still
How
a
is that
game.
different?
It's a game.
Yeah. The only difference is you're matching like gems, and I'm playing Mortal Kombat and just like decapitating someone and then inserting it up his own anus.
Rip out a spine and just going, here you go, look at this.
Yeah. Ooh, look, it's wiggling. It's wiggling.
And they're just like a gold mess on the floor.
Yeah, it's gaming now is as prevalent as watching. Well, I was gonna say it was watching TV, but
Well, it is. Like you said, mobile gaming is such a big thing right now. When I say mobile gaming, it could even that includes a Switch.
well,
going,
yeah,
traveling with a Switch, playing the Switch, playing your phone. How many games you got? Game Pass to your phone now, and not only that, some of the actual
oddly
games
enough,
developed for phones are
my
actually getting better.
Sorry, my mobile, my tablet are the only places where I don't have games.
Yeah, which is weird.
Although in all fairness, on my iPad, I will connect a Xbox controller and jump on Game Pass if need be. But yeah, gaming now, you can play a game on your PC, on your mobile device, on your tablet, on a console. You can play it in VR. You can
Yeah,
even play it direct through your TV, interactive
yeah.
TV. Gaming now is just everywhere.
But I think it's because people have realised that it is such a big form of escapism. You think about if Ori and
It
Will of the
is.
Wisps. That's such a beautiful game, and even if you're not a gamer, if you play that game, I reckon people get hooked on it quite
Well,
easily.
yeah, Carrie.
It's
Well,
games like that.
Carrie does play some console games. She got really into Ori.
But Esther, she absolutely loves playing. So her favorite game on the Switch is Mario Party. So she enjoys playing Mario Party. She plays Mario Kart, that sort of thing. So I know she'll play them, and I know she enjoys them.
Yeah.
And she's not a gamer, but I know they're games that she enjoys. The Sims.
No, she is.
Flipping it. If
she plays
I sit
Animal
Esther down on
Crossing
Sims, oh yeah, she does.
and Mario Kart and Mario Party, she is a gamer.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like she's a hardcore gamer or anything like that.
No,
And
not at all.
in all fairness, I wouldn't even say we're necessarily hardcore gamers.
No.
Like, I think a lot of people as well, because I love retro games, think, oh yeah, I only play like, I don't know, Mass System, Mega Drive. Well, no, I play modern games. I'll play whatever's good. It's like I definitely will not play a retro game just because it's retro. I'll only play it if it's good. Unless it's the Immortal, in which case I'll waste an entire month doing it just so I can go, it's a
Do you know what?
crap game.
I was waiting to bring that up. You beat me to it.
Yeah.
I was waiting to bring the Immortal.
Oh, do you know what though?
But, yeah, go on.
Last month, the Immortal review was the third most viewed page on the website.
Maybe because I thought, I need to check this game out.
Why? Anyone who's thinking of playing the Immortal, don't. I know it's available on the NES versions, available on. Switch
don't
Online.
touch it.
Download it.
Don't. That's even worse than the flipping one we played.
We care for you. Don't do it.
Yes.
Right. Well, after we went off on an absolute tangent there, I think we've just run out of stuff to talk about.
No, I think we have to, but I think it's been a very interesting one.
So, again, thank you for listening. I don't know what to say here because Anthony has not done his job and put something to end the episode on.
No, it's quite easy.
You've not put it in the notes. We've only done this like 55 times before. I can't remember what we do.
Well, do we at least just go, all right, well, that's it for this episode. A lot of acquisitions. Flip's sake. It is acquisitions, isn't it?
Yeah, Activision.
Yeah. Like, don't throw me off here.
I think that's all we've got for this episode, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's been a pretty good episode, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We've been the Retro Gaming Dads, and we'll catch you next time.
Anyone who's thinking of playing the Immortal, don't. I know it's available on the NES versions, available on. Switch
don't touch it.
Download it.
Don't. That's even worse than the flipping one we played.
We care for you. Don't do it.
Yes. We
do something more productive with your time, like I don't know, take drugs or something.